All right, so today we're going to go ahead and have the goal of making a food web from information in a chart. Now, just like we did in class, this is one that we did in class, we're going to use made-up organisms. Okay, the reason that we're doing this is so that you're focusing on the actual chart, not necessarily maybe something that you know in real life. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is look at the organism. Okay, so the first organism is Mickey Dough. So you're going to go ahead and write down the organism. Okay, and then I'm going to represent what it ate. Okay, so it ate Toodles, so I will need to write down Toodles. Okay, and I'm going to represent that by pointing an arrow from Toodles to Mickey Dough. And I think it's a good idea to go ahead and check those off as you do it. The next one is Goofy Goo. So you're going to go ahead and write down Goofy Goo. Okay. And Goofy Goo ate Toodles and Elmo-y. So I already have Toodles written down here, so I'm just going to go ahead and make an arrow from Toodles to Goofy Goo. Okay. But I don't have Elmo-y written down yet, so I do need to go ahead and add that. Put that over here and draw an arrow from Elmo-y to Goofy Goo. Okay. The next one I have is Manny Man. So go ahead and write Manny Man down. Okay. And to represent what Manny Man ate, he ate Mickey Dough. So an arrow from Mickey Dough to Manny Man. Goofy Goo. So from Goofy Goo to Manny Man. And Toodles. So from Toodles to Manny Man. Check it off. Okay, the next one is Oso Dude. So you're going to go ahead and write down Oso Dude. Okay, and Oso Dude ate Manny Man. So from Manny Man to Oso Dude. And also Elmo-y. Okay, check it off. Abby Dabby is our next organism. So go ahead and write down Abby Dabby. Okay, Abby Dabby ate Manny Man. So from Manny Man to Abby Dabby. Abby Dabby ate Mickey Dough. So, right there. Okay. And also Goofy Goo. Okay, so sometimes this does get a little messy, so try to make it as neat as you can. Alright, so all three of those things. So I have 3 things that it ate, and I also have 3 arrows. That's a good way to check. Okay, the next is Sid Kid. So I'm going to go ahead and write down Sid Kid. Then Sid Kid ate Abby Dabby. Okay. Oso Dude. And Manny Man. Okay. All right, so that is your food web. Now, we're going to go ahead from the previous lesson and color code these organisms by producer. And those are going to be green. We're going to do herbivores are pink. We're going to do omnivores as blue. And carnivores as yellow. Okay. All right, so the reason, again, that we do this with made-up organisms is so that you're really looking at how to tell in a food web, especially if you've never heard of these organisms before. So it's always best to start with the producers. So again, the producers don't consume. They're not eating anything. So they will not have any arrows pointing to them. So if we look back in here, okay, Elmo-y, okay, it gives away energy, but it doesn't get energy. It doesn't consume, so that makes Elmo-y a producer. And same thing with Toodles. So now that I know who my producers are, I know that everything else is some type of consumer. So just go ahead and start. Okay, I like to start at the top. So Mickey Doo, the only arrow pointing to Mickey Doo is from a producer. Okay, so go ahead and shade Mickey Doo. Now, if you would like, you can color code these as you go along. Okay, while making it. Some people choose to do it that way, and that's perfectly acceptable. Okay, so can I check that off? So let's look at Goofy Goo. So the 2 arrows pointing at Goofy Goo. One's from Elmoey, producer. The other's from Toodles, a producer. So that also makes Goofy Goo an herbivore. Okay. All right, so the next one is Manny Man. Manny Man eats Toodles. That's a producer. It eats Goofy Goo, which is a consumer. Those are animals. And also eats Mickey Doo, a consumer. So 1 arrow is from a producer, 1 arrow is from a consumer, which makes Manny Man an omnivore. So shade over. Okay. All right, moving on to Oso Dude. Oso Dude eats Elmoey, a producer, and Manny Man, a consumer. So Oso Dude is an omnivore. All right, so on to Abby Dabby. Abby Dabby eats Goofy Goo, a consumer. Abby Dabby eats Mickey Doo, a consumer, and also eats Manny Man, a consumer. So only eats consumers, which would make Abby Dabby a carnivore. Okay. And last but not least, Sid Kid. So Sid Kid eats Manny Man, a consumer. Sid Kid also eats Abby Dabby, a consumer, and also eats Oso Dude. Okay, making Sid Kid a carnivore also. So something else that we would like you to be able to do is identify the apex predator or the top of the food web here. That would be any organism that is a predator but never is prey. Okay? So if you're looking for an organism that does not have arrows coming away from it, which in here the only one would be Sid Kid.